Reducing consumption of salt-preserved and high-sodium foods is a highly effective strategy for lowering your risk of stomach, gastric, cancer, one of the most common and deadly cancers worldwide, particularly in regions where diets traditionally include a lot of salted, pickled, or cured foods. High salt intake doesn't just raise blood pressure, it also directly damages the lining of the stomach, making it more vulnerable to inflammation and to infection by Helicobacter pylori, a bacterium strongly linked to stomach cancer. When salt concentrations are consistently high in the stomach, the protective mucus barrier that shields stomach cells from acid and other irritants can become weakened. This leaves the stomach lining more exposed to chronic irritation, inflammation, and eventually the kind of DNA damage that can set the stage for cancer. Salt also increases the activity and colonization of H. pylori, which produces toxins that cause further inflammation and cellular changes in the stomach lining, factors that together create a potent recipe for gastric cancer development. Traditional salt-preserved foods, like salted fish, pickled vegetables, cured meats, and fermented sauces high in sodium, have been clearly associated with increased stomach cancer risk in large epidemiological studies. For instance, populations in East Asia, where salt-preserved foods are dietary staples, have some of the world's highest rates of gastric cancer. The risk is dose-dependent. The more salt-preserved foods consumed, the higher the likelihood of developing stomach cancer. The modern Western diet also contributes significantly to excessive salt intake through highly processed foods like instant noodles, chips, canned soups, processed meats, frozen meals, and restaurant fare, which often contain large amounts of hidden sodium. In fact, more than 70% of sodium in the average diet comes from processed and prepared foods, not the salt shaker. Reducing salt intake can be straightforward with a few practical steps. Preparing more meals at home allows you to control the amount of salt you add, while using herbs, spices, lemon juice, and vinegar can boost flavor without relying on sodium. Choosing fresh or frozen vegetables instead of canned, checking nutrition labels for lower sodium options, and limiting consumption of processed meats and salty snacks all help significantly reduce daily sodium intake. The World Health Organization recommends consuming less than 5 grams of salt, about 1 teaspoon, per day for adults to reduce the risk of stomach cancer and cardiovascular disease. By prioritizing a diet rich in fresh vegetables, fruits, whole grains, lean proteins, and minimally processed foods, you not only protect your stomach lining but also support a healthy weight, balanced blood pressure, and an overall dietary pattern that reduces your risk of many cancers and chronic diseases. Reducing consumption of salt-preserved foods is a simple yet powerful change that supports long-term digestive health, lowers cancer risk, and contributes to a healthier, more vibrant life.